Hey everybody, how are you? And we're back to do the tarot, and I've got my full set of oracle cards. Sorry, I lost the word for a while. Couldn't get it. And this is for the solar new moon, solar eclipse in December in the house of Capricorn. So this is all about new beginnings for us, and this continues a series of eclipses that's been happening for the last 2 years, which happens every 10 years. So we're talking about the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one, which is very exciting. And this is all about growth, because the eclipse and the new moon are in alignment with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, and Uranus, which is going to be giving us some unusual but very welcome surprises. So it's a really good time. I've got the Dreams of Gaia, and we've got some already out of the box. We've got perception and emotions coming up, and it's quite true, because there's going to be some oppositions, because this is on the Cancer Capricorn alignment. They are in detriment to each other. So what that means is that when one is activated, the other one is not so powerful. Cancer is all about psychic. Capricorn is all about plans. Capricorn is all about the physical world, and Cancer is all about the energetic, psychic world. So there's a couple of differences in that. So there will be some things, of course, we all share. Cancer and Capricorn share some things which will be highlighted, and then there'll be some other things that we'll be forced to have a look at. Okay, so the first card that came out, which is really interesting, don't know if you can see that. That's card 21. This is to do with perception. Let me get it out of the mirror. Can you see that? Bring it over towards the light. It's a dark angel, but she's not all dark. It is lit, and that's perception. And the reason that she's in darkness is that it's going to be an interesting time in terms of our gifts of perception, because it is a new moon, so things that have been hidden before are going to be highlighted, and we're going to have to work with those. And I think the big thing that's going to also be happening along this line is our sense of perception is going to change a great deal. It's going to be heightened. That's one of the gifts of the Cancer Capricorn alignment, is highlighting this sense of perception. And then we have here emotions. Okay, so there's got to be a lot of emotions coming to the forefront. Oh, interestingly, after that is yin and yang, balance. So this is an air, and this is really fascinating because this is 2 of air. This is all about balance. You can see there, if you hold the card and have a look at it, you can see that there's the scales. And what's interesting about this is black and white. So things opposing, that look in opposing, so things like perception can often be in opposement to emotion. What we're going to do is we're going to have to balance those. And what's interesting, because this is the first time it's happened to me with the Gaia cards, is we've got the 10 of Cups, or the 10 of Water upside down. Sorry. Yeah, so the 10 of Water is normally this way. So it is a new emotional beginning for us. But when we have the card upside down, what that means is there's a little bit of work to be done on us getting a really clear picture about what our emotions are meaning for us. Because this is the other thing that starts to happen when you do the work on yourself, isn't it? is that your sense of who you are changes. So your emotional responses and your emotional triggers change. So that means your emotional scale is changing. And they might take a bit of time for that to recalibrate so that you are comfortable and you understand what your responses are, because this is the other thing that happens when we develop and move, is that things change. And when things change, it means we need to recalibrate. So our emotional response to something is going to change, or actually our emotional response to a lot of things is going to be changed. They'll need to be recalibrated. It's interesting, really interesting reading. I wasn't kind of expecting what was popping up to pop up, so that's really fascinating. Okay, and what I mean by perception and emotion is that our emotions govern our perceptions or influence our perceptions. So sometimes it's really interesting to be having a look at that. Okay, and what's coming up here now is the 5. All right, and this is quite fascinating, isn't it? Because this is the 5, and this is the 5 of Earth. And when you have a look at that again, you can see that there's 2 colors opposing, and you can also see the person at the back that's feeling very lost and confused. So that's some of the healing or the change that's going to be taking place. We're going to have a different perception of who we are and what we need. And we're going to be integrating aspects of ourselves that we haven't been comfortable to integrate before. And that's also going to aid this change or this recalibration of our emotional self. And I think that's going to be really, really fascinating. The dragon, the ace of fire. All right. And the spider with the web underneath. So we're definitely going to have a new beginnings about how we're seeing the world. And the symbolism of the spider is the builder. So what we're going to be doing is, and it sits very well with this eclipse at the end of one year and moving into another year, that we're going to be wanting to start a new relationship with the world around us and start to build that. But it does look like there's going to be still some emotional work that we'll need to do to recalibrate our emotional responses to what's going around us. And once we recalibrate our emotional responses to what's going on around us, all right, then we'll have an altered sense of perception on our readings about the world and our place in the world. And I think that's going to be a very interesting I don't know why I looked underneath, but what the card that's underneath is fascinating, and it's intuition. Don't you just love that? So the whole environment that's happening around us is a lot to do with perception. If you look at that line, perception, emotion, intuition, all of these things are going to come together, and all of them are being changed because we're going through this recalibration. That's quite fascinating. And the other thing that's fascinating about intuition is it's also got the spider at the bottom. It's got the building at the bottom. So we're going to be building something new, and we're going to have this increased awareness of the relationships and how everything comes together in this world. And it's something that we've been missing, or more correctly, it's something that we've been slowly building over these last series of eclipses. We're talking about the ones at the beginning of the year and the ones in July, to change totally our understanding of who we are on this world. Okay, and of course, another 5. So it's not without some conflict. And the very nature of this eclipse with Capricorn and Cancer is a conflict, because we've got 2 ends of the, almost 2 ends, if you like, of the scale. One, Cancer being quite intuitive, 2, Capricorn being very much of this earth and very much hands-on. I apologise, I just saw that the screen is jumping around a bit, so I'm sorry about all of that. And then the last but not least, of course, is body-mind. So this is actually going to be bringing together, and this is what I love about what's going to be happening, is that, and I talked about this before, you know, the spiritual change and the energetic change happens before us, but it's actually the eclipses that really bring it into the physical being. They're the enablers that make it happen here on Earth. So we have all this change that we've been working on, that we've been asking to come in, and that's been happening, and we've had this recalibration that's been going on, if you like, behind the scenes, and we've had insights into how that's been impacting on us, and then wham bam comes the eclipse, and all of a sudden it becomes real. But of course, when we take something that's a bit of a theory and we try to put it into the practical world, there's always some conflict around how is that all going to work and come together. And I think all of that is quite interesting. And this is why the Ten of Cups is upside down, is because it's going to take some time for us to reconcile all of these things and bring them together. But then once we have them together, it's really going to be something. So I'm playing with the order of the cards. I don't mean to be, but that's what's happening a little bit. Okay. And is there anything else? And is that yes for Gaia, or is that yes for the... Okay, Gaia over. All right. Very nice. And, oh, that's interesting. The Seven of Air is underneath and it's upside down. And why am I saying that that's interesting? Is it upside down, or have I got the pack upside? No, I've got the pack upside down. And that's it. Sorry, forgive me. That's the energy of underneath. And I love the Seven of Air, because the Seven of Air is all about learning in this particular deck. And I think that's really something. Okay, we're just now going to do some, because it's, I think we're going to, yeah, we are. Yes, please comes the answer. I love it when they go, yes, please. The other thing you might find, and I'm finding this, is some of my spiritual guides are being very pragmatic and are being unusually forceful. I did a little talk in the one about the astrology, talking about the difference between mastery and control. And what's come up is self-mastery. Mastering all aspects of yourself is your reason for being here. Be the master of your life. Release your past. Let go of habits, rituals, and conditioning to allow yourself to be all that you can be. Heal, clear, resolve, accept, forgive, trust, embrace, love, enjoy, empower, and enable yourself to be masterful. And this is really what this is all talking about. Being the master. Wow. I kid you not, sometimes when this stuff happens, it's like, wow. I'm so grateful. All right, let's see. Yeah, Queenie, come on. Really big cards, love them, but pain in the butt sometimes to work with. Sound the fierce flute. It's this whole thing of like, let the world know you are here. Let them know you are coming. And be clear about who you are and announce, this is me. This is me. And I think the perfect thing about this is the movement is also accompanied by Mercury moving into Capricorn as well. So we're going to have the voice to talk about it, but this is also be a little bit fierce about who you are. Protect who you are and recognize who you are and support who you are and go for it. Go for it. The good thing about Capricorn is it's going to help you make the plan. Cancer's still going to be there giving you all that intuition. And we're going to be in a great place over the next 6 months to really go for the things we want. Oh, these cards are really stiff. I was going to put them away because I thought they were too stiff. They're not going to give me anything. And the little voice goes, use them. Oof. Oh. Unplug from mass consciousness. A little bit difficult to do because it is the Christmas time, it is the New Year time, but make time for yourself and don't get caught up in all of the busyness that's around you. Enjoy it if that's your thing. Really be part of it, but don't get caught up with it and just take it along and miss this opportunity. Take some time out around the 26th or leading up to the 26th to really get quite clear. Family of light. Call in your angels, call in your guides. They're there with you. So this is not just a time for the family as in the family on earth, but it's also a time for the family in terms of your spiritual guides and your angels, however you want to word them, being around and being with you. All right, so huge time of integration. There will be some moments of conflict. That's okay. We're going through a recalibration. And when you go through a recalibration, it's not always the easiest thing because we're letting some things go and we're letting some new things in. And we're completely changing our emotional response to not just us, but the world around us. So we're working on 3 levels. This is all about changing who we are. Okay? And that's why, getting my cards right, don't know why I need to do that, but must be Capricorn. I have to have everything in the right order. This is why the 10 is upside down. It's going to take a little bit of time to get comfortable with it, but it's well worth the effort. Okay, lovely to spend time with you. See you soon.